Imagine a foggy morning, October 21st, 1600, at the plains of Sekigahara. Two armies, locked in a fierce stare-down, prepare for a battle that would change the course of Japanese history forever. The stakes were colossal. The Eastern Army, led by the strategic genius Tokugawa Ieyasu, faced off against the Western Army, commanded by the ambitious Toyotomi loyalist Ishida Mitsunari. Ieyasu, a man of calculated patience, had waited long for this day. His eyes, sharp as a hawk's, studied the battlefield, a living chessboard, and he was the master player. The battle commenced with the deafening roar of drums and the bone-chilling cry of warriors. The air was thick with tension and the smell of gunpowder. Arrows whistled through the air and the ground trembled under the thunderous charge of cavalry. But amidst the chaos, Ieyasu remained composed. His mind, a tranquil sea in the storm of battle, was focused on one thing: victory. The decisive moment came like a bolt from the blue. The Western Army, seemingly on the verge of victory, was betrayed by one of their own. Kobayakawa Hideaki, previously indecisive, charged down from Mount Matsuo, not against the Eastern Army as Mitsunari had hoped, but against his own. It was a masterstroke of deception, orchestrated by Ieyasu himself. The tide of the battle turned. The Eastern Army, rejuvenated by this unexpected turn of events, surged forward. The Western Army, caught off guard and reeling from the betrayal, crumbled. Ieyasu, with the calmness of a seasoned warrior, seized the moment and led his army to a decisive victory. This was not just a battle won, it was the dawn of a new era. The Battle of Sekigahara was significant not just for its strategic brilliance, but because it unified Japan under one banner, setting the stage for the rise of the samurai. With Tokugawa's victory, the stage was set for the rise of the samurai, warriors who would etch their names in the annals of history. Rewind several centuries to the Heian period, around the 12th century. Here, amidst the rolling hills and serene landscapes, the samurai emerged. In the tranquility of the Heian period, a new class of warriors began to take shape: the samurai. Originally, these warriors were provincial guards tasked with protecting the lands and properties of the aristocracy. However, as the central government weakened, these warriors began to gain significant power. Their role expanded beyond mere guards, and they evolved into a military nobility, their swords becoming symbols of authority. The samurai were bound by a strict code of conduct known as Bushido, or the Way of the Warrior. This code, influenced by Shinto, Buddhism, and Confucianism, emphasized loyalty, self-discipline, and respect. It was this code that guided the samurai in their actions, both on and off the battlefield. As time passed, the samurai began to play an increasingly significant role in politics. They were no longer just warriors, but also diplomats and advisors. Their influence was felt throughout the land, their words carrying weight in the courts of the nobility and the halls of power. It was during this period that Minamoto no Yoritomo, a samurai of great renown, established the first shogunate. He effectively became the military dictator of Japan, with the title of shogun. This marked the beginning of the Kamakura period, and the samurai, under the leadership of the shogun, became the ruling class of Japan. The samurai became more than just warriors. They were artists, poets, and philosophers, contributing significantly to the cultural development of Japan. They brought about a unique blend of martial prowess and refined culture, a combination that would shape Japan for centuries to come. As the samurai grew in power, so too did their influence, forever altering the face of Japan. Their code of honor, their dedication, and their indomitable spirit made them a force to be reckoned with, and their legacy continues to be felt to this day. They were not just warriors, but also shapers of history, and their story is one of valor, discipline, and power. Fast forward to the Edo period, where the samurai reached their pinnacle. This period, spanning from the early 17th to the late 19th century, saw the samurai class ascend to the zenith of their power and influence. In the Edo period, Japan was a strictly hierarchical society, and the samurai stood at the apex. They were not only warriors, but also bureaucrats and administrators, and their influence permeated every aspect of Japanese life. This was a time when the samurai class flourished, and their principles of honor, courage, and loyalty, encapsulated in the Bushido Code, became deeply embedded in Japanese society. Let's take a moment here to consider some of the luminaries from this period. There was Sakamoto Ryoma, a visionary who played a pivotal role in the overthrow of the Tokugawa shogunate. paving the way for the modernization of Japan. Then we have Hijikata Toshizo, often referred to as the last true samurai, who valiantly led the Shinsengumi, a special police force in Kyoto. Their stories, their struggles, and their triumphs all paint a vivid image of the samurai's indomitable spirit and their unwavering commitment to the Bushido Code. The samurai were the embodiment of martial arts expertise, but they were also scholars, philosophers, and artists. They practiced calligraphy, wrote poetry, and were patrons of the tea ceremony. Their influence extended beyond the battlefield and the courtrooms. It seeped into the arts, the philosophy, and the culture of Japan, shaping its identity in profound and enduring ways. The samurai's adherence to the Bushido Code, their commitment to honor and duty, their cultivation of both martial and artistic skills, all these combined to create a class of warriors whose like the world has seldom seen. Their impact on Japanese society was profound and far-reaching, and their legacy continues to resonate even today. But as with all great powers, the sun began to set on the samurai. The arrival of Commodore Perry's black ships in the 1850s marked the beginning of the end for the samurai. A foreign wind blew across the land of the rising sun, carrying with it the seeds of change. Commodore Matthew Perry of the United States sailed into Edo Bay with his fleet of black ships, bringing with him the West's technology and ideologies. This intrusion into Japan's long-held isolation was the first gust of a gathering storm. The samurai, who had held sway in Japan for centuries, found their world on the brink of collapse. The advent of Western influence sparked a rapid modernization within the country. The Meiji Restoration of 1868 marked the start of an era that sought to restructure Japan along Western lines, and central to this was the abolishment of the samurai class. The samurai were caught in a whirlwind of change, their traditional privileges stripped away, their swords replaced by firearms, and their status replaced by a new Western-style conscript army. The warriors who once held power found themselves becoming relics of a bygone era. But the samurai spirit was not so easily extinguished. One man, Saigo Takamori, a samurai of the Satsuma domain, refused to let the flame of the samurai flicker out without a fight. Known as the last true samurai, Saigo led a rebellion in 1877, the Satsuma Rebellion, against the very government he had helped to establish. Saigo's rebellion was a desperate last-ditch effort to protect the samurai's way of life. But despite their bravery and their unwavering Bushido spirit, the samurai were ill-equipped to fight the modern weaponry of the imperial forces. The rebellion was crushed, and Saigo met his end on the battlefield, thus marking the last stand of the samurai. Thus, the swords of the samurai were sheathed, not in defeat, but in the face of a changing world. The fall of the samurai was not a downfall, but rather a transformation, a metamorphosis into a new era. Their legacy, however, remains etched in the annals of history, their spirit still resonating in the heart of modern Japan. Though the era of the samurai has passed, the principles they lived by, the Bushido Code, continues to resonate in the heart of Japan and beyond. The Bushido Code, with its emphasis on honor, courage, and loyalty, has left an indelible mark on Japanese society. The code that guided the samurai, the code that dictated every decision, every action, is not lost in the annals of history. It still breathes life into everyday Japan, subtly influencing everything from business ethics to personal conduct. The boardrooms may have replaced the battlefields and the suits may have replaced the armor, but the spirit of the samurai remains unbroken. It is evident in the respectful bow of a businessman, in the unwavering dedication of a master craftsman, in the disciplined practice of a martial artist. The principles of Bushido, once the lifeblood of the samurai, continue to inspire and guide. They serve as a moral compass, a beacon of honor, courage, and integrity in a world often lost in the chaos of change. The Bushido Code is not merely a historical concept, it is a living philosophy. It is a testament to the timeless legacy of the samurai, a legacy that transcends the boundaries of time and space. In the enduring spirit of the Bushido Code, we find the samurai's true legacy, a beacon of honor, courage, and integrity that continues to guide us in the modern world. And that brings us to the end of our samurai tale. If you would like to see more videos about samurai and life in feudal Japan, please make sure and subscribe to our Samurai Odyssey YouTube channel. Arigato.